That's one. That's one, right, Dub Nation? Golden State Warriors fans, Dub Nation, how we doing? How we doing? 1-0, right? The Golden State Warriors have taken home court advantage from the Houston Rockets. They won 95-85 and now take the series lead, as I said, 1-0. Here's some takeaways. Some good takeaways, some constructive criticism, bad takeaways from the Dubs' performance. Let's get onto it though, right? Let's have a good time talking some Warriors at C-Train Station. Subscribe while you're at it, while I'm ranting, while I'm getting through this intro. Do the subscribe thing, do the like thing. Let's have some fun with this. Great defensive performance by the Warriors. The Warriors had 14 steals and held the Rockets to 18 points. One more time. The Dubs had 14 steals. The Rockets only had 85 points. If you tell me those statistics, I will take them every time if those statistics are in favor of the Warriors, right? I'll take that every time. Staunch defense. The defense, it was impressive that coming into the game, all we heard about was Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, and that staunch Houston Rockets defense. The Warriors can D up too. The Golden State Warriors can absolutely play some defense, and I loved it. Moving on, just good defense all around. Draymond doing Draymond stuff, right? Podziemski holding his own against anybody. Curry, they tried to beat up on Curry. So, So the Houston Rockets, when they were on offense, they were trying to get some switches. They were trying to target Curry, target Steph, and make him work defensively. And Steph worked defensively, and the Warriors won. I can dig it. What else did I really like? Well, the starters look capable of winning some games. The Warriors starters alone look pretty gosh darn capable. They look capable of winning almost like a game in this series by themselves. Was it the last game? I mean, the Warriors didn't have a lot of bench help last game, did they? Was it the last game? So, Steph, Podz, Jimmy, Moses Moody, and Draymond all together looked fairly formidable out there. Now we're going to get to some of the bad, some of the critiques about that size, right? Because the Warriors were really out-rebounded. However, I believe every starter was in the plus category. I think that every Warrior except for GP2 was in the plus category when we're talking about plus and minus. That's all I can ask for. That's all I can. There's no complaints here when I get to the bad. It's only constructive criticism, honestly. Of any Warrior not named Steph or Jimmy, I was the most impressed with Mr. Brandin Podziemski. Podz, you delivered, sir. Thank you. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a partridge in a pear tree. No, but look, only 1 turnover. Podz only had 1 turnover, and he was plus 17. Look, if you're going to tell me that Brandin Podziemski is going to be plus, 10 plus, right, in the plus minus, and also that he's going to be the Warriors' leading rebounder. What was that, his first playoff game? Was that his first official playoff game? Brandin Podziemski, I'm sold. I would love for I think that Podziemski, out of any player not named Jimmy Butler, has carved himself a role in the starting lineup. And I think that moving forward, some of the awesome flexibility that this comes from this. Not only can Podziemski, is he a connector? Does he have some range as well? He can play defense, and also he is a rebounder of the basketball. So going into the future, and just in this series, that is paramount. Brandin Podziemski's attributes and skills, the ones that we could rebound well for. No, he led the Warriors in rebounding in a playoff game, in a game where they sorely needed rebounding. Most people would contend that rebounding is the number one thing that the Warriors need going forward in this series. Brandin Podziemski, 6'4", 6'5", Brandin Podziemski provided that for the Dubs. Nicely done, Brandon. Nicely done, man. Jimmy looked great. Jimmy Butler, he played amazing. A++ for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler played 42 minutes. So all the stats, I think that Jimmy got 25, 6'5". He got a bunch of stats, but these are the statistics that I'm actually so impressed with Jimmy Butler. Number one, 42 minutes. But also, in that 42 minutes of play, Jimmy Butler committed 1 turnover and 1 foul. Got it. 1 turnover and 1 foul in 42 minutes for Jimmy Butler in the playoffs against what's arguably like one of the best defending teams in the NBA. Okay, got it. So in the future, this is just adding on. As a response to Jimmy Butler being so dynamic, in the future, I think it's a valid tactic that when the shot clock is winding down and Jimmy Butler is on the floor for the Warriors when they're on offense, when the shot clock is winding down, Jimmy Butler should just go and just yank the ball from whoever has the ball on the Warriors offense, and everybody else just get out of the way and watch Jimmy go to work. I didn't think Jimmy Butler was going to be that type of player because there's only like pretty much one player, not even Steph. There's one player, I believe, in the Warriors history that it's like, give him the ball and get out of the way. That's Kevin Durant, right? KD so many times in the Warriors dynasty. When there was 10, 12 left on the shot clock, just KD, break glass, emergency, 10 seconds left, break glass, press KD button. I think the Warriors should definitely do that with Jimmy Butler. I think that Jimmy Butler can handle that. I think that Jimmy Butler's built like that. However, they're not going to get the offensive production from Kevin Durant. So when the Warriors do have those situations, they're not going to be as effective as in years past. However, they're going to be as effective as a player who played 42 minutes and only had 1 turnover. That's effectiveness. That's actually like the definition of efficiency, right? And effectiveness. So Steph is going to Steph. But more than that, I think that Steph set the emotional tone for the Warriors, right? Houston was so physical with Steph. You Google it. I'm sure you saw it. Houston was hugging. Fred VanVleet was literally hugging Steph. Jalen Green literally hugging Steph. Dylan Brooks was doing like a hug hump thing. He does that. I don't know if that's anyways, I don't know if that's a type of assault, honestly, the way that Dylan Brooks humps people. That's fine. That's neither here nor there. This is the bottom line. Houston, behind their trash-talking coach who like Ime Udoka, the Rockets coach, he talks trash to Steph, to a player. He physically threatens players and stuff like that. He's a weird guy. Really weird guy. Honestly. Okay? And I'm weird. So me calling him weird, that's not good. Not good. Okay? Look, Steph, they've been trying to break Steph. I think the Houston Rockets have been trying to break Steph for 10 years. They never will, and the joke's on them. Steph is absolutely unbreakable. So this is great. It looks as though the Houston Rockets almost have a Stephen Curry. Well, how about this? The Houston Rockets announcer was credited on air. He said that Stephen Curry gave him PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, I believe that the Houston Rockets are almost deranged from what Steph has done to them. I think that they're so hell-bent on shutting down Steph that it's almost as if the Houston Rockets would take a loss just to beat up Steph a little bit and lose a series. It's so interesting. The derangement is heavy with that squad, and go for it. I think that Houston should be as deranged and obsessing with Steph as possible, because that is exactly where that's where the Warriors beat you, right? That's where they beat you with the tic-tac-toes. Because as you become obsessed and deranged with Steph, your defense goes further out, leaves the basket more open and more open. So, but this props to Steph for not breaking. He's got a messed up hand. They were hitting at it nonstop, grabbing him, humping him, essentially, doing some things that if I did to other people in public, I'd be arrested. Absolutely, 100%. So kudos to Steph for not breaking. And I think that he does need to be given some kudos right there. Even though it's like a given that he doesn't break. Still, good to give him props. The entire Warriors squad gets their props. This is why. The Warriors committed 11 turnovers. They committed 11 turnovers against a team that must get turnovers essentially in order to thrive. In order to thrive, the Houston Rockets must get second chance points and also must get points off of turnovers. They must. Their offense they don't have the dandiest offense, right? It's like give it to Alper and Sengun and get out of the way. Okay. A little bit of drive and dish with Fred VanVleet. Okay, that's cool. That's sweet. That's cute. But they don't have a whole lot to offer the Warriors because, though, the Warriors respected Houston. So Houston didn't miss all these three-pointers because they were open and missed. Houston missed because the Warriors contested. They healthily contested a lot of shots, and I love that. That's exactly what I was preaching, right? I was saying, like, that in years past, the Warriors had given a player like Dillon Brooks wide open three-pointers. You can't do that with Houston. He's shooting 38%, and also he is their three-point shooter. You can't give an opponent, no matter how much you want to disrespect another team, you can't play into how another team plays. And the Houston Rockets will love for their best three-point shooter to be shooting open three-point shots. The Warriors have taken that away. Dynamic. The Warriors commit 10 or fewer turnovers, and they have a game in the playoffs, and they have a chance to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I'm going to say that one more time. If the Golden State Warriors commit 10 or fewer turnovers a game, and they still haven't, they committed 11 last game, if they can commit 10 or fewer, I believe they'll most likely win the NBA championship, the Larry O'Brien, and that's a huge stretch for me to say that, but it's not, because that's how much defense means. Steve Kerr, masterclass. I thought Looney was ineffective, but you had to turn to him, right? And I thought that the Warriors played Buddy Hield a little bit too long, but you almost have to, but you don't. And this is why. Watch this. I loved Kerr's moves out there. He won the game. He got great timeouts, but here is what I propose. Give Guy Santos just a few more of Buddy Hield's minutes, and this is why. Guy Santos can do so much. Okay, like Guy Santos can do so much more on the basketball court than Buddy Hield can do, and also he's still a decent shooter, but with more size. So I totally get, like, Jimmy Butler was what it seemed like legitimately concerned about Buddy Hield doing anything but shooting. I agree. Other than playing, and I said this, and it's like, I hope you bookmarked this in the last video, right? Buddy Hield needs to dig in on defense and shoot. And that's it. And here's an example. This is what I mean. If Buddy Hield has a logo shot that is 3/4 contested, that is a quarter contested. So if he's got like a logo three that somebody's not hotly contested, I would rather him take that logo three than dribbling up 2 dribbles for a wide open three-pointer. Again, I would rather see Buddy Hield shoot a darn near contested logo three, but not dribble at all, than watch him dribble. If Buddy Hield puts that ball on the ground, the Warriors are going to lose that possession and a lot more. Okay? It is a sign that things are not going well if Buddy Hield is creating and dribbling the ball. Buddy Hield is a shooter. Can he play that much defense? No, not really. But he has to play defense, but he doesn't have to do everything else. You understand what I'm saying? He doesn't have to beat his defender off the dribble. He can just literally pass the ball. So what my contention is that if Buddy Hield doesn't understand that he should only shoot and play defense, that's fine. Replace him with Guy Santos, because Guy Santos definitely understands that. Here's the not so good now. Here's the not so good. And this is just constructive criticism, because honestly, you can always get better, but I'll take this Warriors. I'll take any win in the Warriors playoffs that they can give me. Okay, give us, right? The Warriors need more scoring from everyone not named Steph and Jimmy. Quentin Post is a Warriors shooter. If he has a wide open or open shot, he needs to take it. Quentin Post looked extremely tentative out there and also got bullied by Steven Adams. That can't happen anymore. That simply can't happen. Quentin Post needs to play stronger as a man. Like, literally, just don't go down, okay? Use your base as strength and dig in from that base, from the ground up, when you're accessing your strength. But He's got to let it rip. And it stinks that I don't think Quentin Post scored anything, and he got, this is where we're getting into a little bit of trouble, right? It's like the Warriors stars, Jimmy Butler and Steph doing so well should give players like Post confidence, but it's away, right? It's at Houston. It is known that younger bench players perform better at home. So it's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough finding more scoring. So Post looked tentative, and Buddy is only a shooter, right? I would love for Buddy Hield to get his shots in, but it's like if he's getting a dribble, then I don't want him to get his shots in, honestly. And this is what I was going to say. The disconnect between the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga must be just so extreme. So extreme. Like I reading Coach Kerr's books. I've coached myself for almost off and on 30 years, right? Myself, I can't imagine a situation that I would that a guy like Kuminga is just completely benched. I mean, that is such an indictment on Jonathan Kuminga's attitude, right? Because in the playoffs, it's all about sacrifice. They need sacrifice. Everybody should be sacrificing for the team. And it doesn't seem like Jonathan Kuminga is going to do that. And that's just crazy. I don't know what is wrong with that guy. I've never seen somebody, though. And Shaq says this so well. There's an interview with Shaq and Graham somebody. Anyway, it's Shaq and I forget what the guy's last name is, but it's Graham somebody. And this is very important. Shaq said that when he was first coached by Phil Jackson, Shaq said something to the gist of, Phil Jackson had G14 classification. Phil Jackson had the rings. I had to defer to Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Dude, my Shaq impersonation is not on, by the way. So it's fine. But what Shaq said is that Phil Jackson, via the rings, via the fact that he's a champion, he's got G14 classification. And Shaq would do whatever Phil Jackson said. And this is interesting. I want to go in on this as we're talking about how Kuminga's insolence, I would say. Is it insolence? I'm going to say it's probably insolence on Kuminga's part. Short story. Shaquille O'Neal was introduced to his new coach, Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson said, look, you're great. You can do better. Ditch the rapping. Ditch the rapping and the acting. Shaq said, what are you talking about? Phil Jackson said, look, if you commit to me and my ways, the Zen Masters ways, I'll get you championships. I'll get you MVPs. Shaquille O'Neal then admittedly, he did less of the rapping, less of the acting, almost cut it out completely. They won a championship. They won a title. Shaq won an MVP. Steve Kerr has I believe that Steve Kerr has more classification, just as much as Phil Jackson. Steve Kerr has 9, 10 rings. Who knows how many championship rings Coach Steve Kerr has. And Jonathan Kuminga's not giving him G14 classification. Jonathan Kuminga should be paying his salary to learn from Coach Kerr. But it is, and this is where I'm going to be somewhat damning of Jonathan Kuminga. It doesn't make any sense to me in any way, shape, or form that this is a fact. Jonathan Kuminga said that he learned the game of basketball, and he learned by watching offensive highlights mostly of Kobe Bryant on YouTube. Okay? That's how Jonathan Kuminga got his. That's not correct. I'm just going to put it out to you. The correct way to learn the sport of basketball is not to go to internet cafes and watch Kobe Bryant highlights. That's not it. You need to play. You need to be part of programs. You need to understand fundamentals. You need to be part of teams. Jonathan Kuminga didn't do that. He doesn't want to do that. And in my opinion, he is not deserving to wear the Golden State Warriors logo because of that. Look, all the people, I love Jonathan Kuminga. Look at my YouTube. The first video I ever made was about Jonathan Kuminga. He inspired me to help create this channel. And also, so listen to me. So I have to have, are you going to give me a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here? Steve Kerr asked Kuminga to commit years ago, and Kuminga went to the public and his agents and said, I'm unstoppable one-on-one. That's what I want to do with my life. Guess what? That's not congruent. That doesn't add up. It's not the same. It doesn't equal championships. So I would love for the Warriors to trade Kuminga and for Kuminga to go to a place where he can be the primary offensive guy, where he can learn and grow and have as many turnovers as he wants. He can play as poor defense as he wants. He can have he can do all the stuff that it seems like he wants to do. But it has to be off the Warriors. And I love that it seems like the veterans also went up to Kerr and were like, look, this guy doesn't do what it takes to win. Guy Santos, since he got here, he's done everything and more that it takes to win. Defend without fouling, make the extra pass, commit, sacrifice. Jonathan Kuminga has done none of this, and when he's been given the opportunity, he's pouted, he's complained, and his agents have gone to Shams and have talked about how he's unstoppable one-on-one. He's not unstoppable one-on-one. He shoots like 40% from the field, 30% from three-point, and 60% from the free throw line. But I digress. That is a freaking shame. That's a shame. And every time I see, honestly, this is a fact, because I'm like a coach. This is a coach, C-Train speaking. Every time I see the Warriors like out-rebound or something, I think, shame on Jonathan Kuminga. That man refuses to play. He refused, and this is what I'm talking about. You're like, C-Train, what are you even talking about? Coach Kerr won't play him. It's like, no. Jonathan Kuminga won't play himself. He will not commit. He will not sacrifice. He simply refuses. That's on him. And think about this. You have to think about it. My whole YouTube, it's like I started the YouTube. He inspired me to start this whole friggin' thing years and years ago. What? I'm not all of a sudden turning on him. He has turned on me. He has refused the prosperity of playing dynamic defense. He refuses the prosperity of playing team ball. He refuses the prosperity of not turning the ball over. And he refuses the prosperity of not being a freaking ball hog and taking horrible shots, for which he has atrocious percentages to stand for it. It's like, dude, if Kuminga was receptive to coaching, the Warriors would win the championship, almost guaranteed this season. But he's not. So, gosh, you know what stinks is this has happened multiple times. In the last few weeks, I've taken notes and whatnot, and it's like the disconnect between Kuminga and the Warriors. The refusal of Kuminga to commit to anything other than himself. Jonathan Kuminga, I don't know if he cares about anything but himself. He hasn't shown anything else. The Warriors have asked him to sacrifice and commit, and he said, I want the ball. I want to score. What, like, that, now this is twice in like 2 weeks, and we have to listen to what I'm saying. Like, full stop. Stop. Okay, so I just went on another Jonathan Kuminga rant. Another one. It took about 5 to 7 minutes. I went on a Jonathan Kuminga rant 2 weeks ago, and he hasn't played since, essentially. He hasn't played since. The reason that I went on the rant earlier was valid. And the reason that I went on the rant today is valid. What does that say about Jonathan Kuminga? What other player? Look, I have almost 400 videos on YouTube. What other player in any sport, in anything, do I rant about like this in a, I would say, very critical and maybe negative sense? What other player, anybody, go through my videos, anybody is not there. It's not there. It's because lack of effort, it sets me on fire. It sets me on fire, and that's what Jonathan Kuminga lacks. The heart, the effort to sacrifice. It hurts. It hurts a little bit me inside. Jonathan Kuminga is hurting me because he refuses to commit to the thing that he makes millions and millions and millions of dollars at doing. Wow. Got it. Houston, moving on, a little bit more criticism, and that's it. Houston can't shoot too many more shots than the Warriors. Last game, the Houston Rockets shot about 10 more shots than the Warriors. They out-rebounded the Warriors by like 15. Here's what I'm getting at. The shots come from second chance points. The Warriors somehow, some way, need to defend successfully and through the rebound. So, in my opinion, because I guess Kuminga is just, they can't play him, I would contest the Warriors should, instead of Buddy Hield, play Guy Santos, because that's the closest thing that you can get to bumping up your size to get some rebounds. Hopefully Kevon Looney plays a little bit better than the last time. I mean, the Warriors need something from Looney and post, and are going to need a little bit more from Santos and Payton. And it almost all comes at that rebounding, defending through the point and rebounding, which we said. I was saying last video, right? Tari Eason, Eamon Thompson, friggin' Sengun, Smith, and Steven Adams, insane offensive rebounding. In many ways, I believe that the Houston Rockets have a poor. I think, well, it doesn't even matter. Who knows about causation and correlation? So I'll just scrap that. But the Houston Rockets aren't the best shooting team. If the Warriors can hold the Houston Rockets to one shot down every time, they'll win. They'll win. Whew. Alrighty, y'all. Alrighty. Hey, sans that little Jonathan Kuminga, the spiel. This is a great day. It's a beautiful day. And it's a wonderful day to be a Golden State Warriors fan. It's also a wonderful day to like, subscribe, and comment below. Comment below, though. My question to you this time is, and by the way, thank you so much for the comments last time. I love them. I love responding to them. I love chatting with each and every one of you. My comment is, if there was one Warrior who you think really needs to step up in order for the Warriors to take this Houston series and to take it maybe even handily, who is that Warrior? Who needs to step up? And it sort of is a feasible. I think that we have some names though, right? Post, Looney, Guy Santos. If any of those players can sort of step up, and you don't need all of them to do that, right? If you could just get one or two of them, I think the Warriors are on to the next round. But as I bid adieu, as I say this last little bit, I have to remind Golden State Warriors fans, above all, above the rants, above the good and the bad and the ugly, enjoy this. We are getting to see Stephen Curry, one of the best athletes of all time in any sport. He's throwing down, he's putting on for us. So appreciate that. Hopefully you find joy in that. I find joy in chatting and making this content. So thank you so much for watching. And till the next time, I'm out. Have a good one.